event to begin the process to dismantle all kinds of personal privacy and freedoms here, even in our own country, okay? And folks, because of that event and the laws that they've passed with the Patriot Acts and all the other ones, okay, ripping us off our freedom under the guise of terrorism, because, again, folks, if you study history, it's the same thing. They do the same goofball things that the Romans did to control the peoples. Two things. One, they do what's called bread and circus. Now, bread and circus is the phrase, if you know your history, that the Roman people, the government used to control the populace. They gave them bread, made sure they had food, okay, and they gave them circus with the gladiatorial games and entertainment and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay, that was their terminology. Folks, the same thing's being conditioned on you and I. You and I don't need to be concerned about all this. What have we been conditioned about? What's the average person right now concerned about? It's not that we're living in the last days, I better get right with God, or if I am right with God through Jesus Christ, I got to get busy telling other people. No, it's this. Make sure the economy works. That's bread, right? Just give me my bread. Make sure my 401k, as you mentioned earlier, is going to be there. You just make sure the economy is going to be good. I was preaching, I was pastoring a congregation in Northern California when 9/11 happened, folks. And that very first next Sunday, man, I mean, attendance just absolutely swelled. People came in. I'm going, praise God. God's going to use this event, and it's going to wake people up to realize we need to get right with Him, and we cannot continue down the road of wickedness we're going. You know what happened the next week after the talking heads on the media, after they told everybody, quote unquote, they worked so hard the next week to just sit there over and over again. Don't worry, the economy's going to be fine. Don't worry, the economy's going to be fine. You know what happened next week, Derek?
What?
I kid you not. The attendance went exactly back to the same that it was before.
Wow.
And so what that told me right then, and that's when I started preaching for the first time through the book of Revelation. Okay, that was my watershed event. It's like, man, this is not a game. We better get the truth out there. This is crazy. Because I had no idea that people were being so duped and treated like cattle. The attendance went right back down to the same. So what that told me was, that revealed to me the people's heart across America. They're not concerned about spiritual things. They're not concerned about last days. They're not concerned about eternity. You just guarantee me, I don't care what kind of crisis, you guarantee me my bread and my circus. You guarantee me the economy's going to be fine. You give me some entertainment. Give me my six-pack of beer. Give me my football, basketball, whatever your sport is. And I don't care who rules me. Now, folks, that's the same classic trick that the Roman society used on the Roman populace to keep them under control. The second trick that they're doing is again, this issue of trying to, you create a crisis, then you can manage the outcome. It's fear, okay? Because people are more apt, okay, to surrender their freedoms, not in a time of peace, no, in a time of fear. And they know that, folks. And so that's why, if you notice, everything on the planet today, it's not a problem. Everything's a crisis. We got a not just a economy problem, we got an economy crisis. We've got a terrorist crisis. We got a disease crisis. We got an earthquake crisis. We got a oil spill crisis. We got a crisis. I'm waiting for we got an oatmeal crisis. Everything's a crisis. And it gets people worked up into a frenzy, and they're always, and this is what they want to do, always keeping us in a constant state of fear. Why? Because people are more apt to surrender their freedoms in a time of fear. It's the same thing the Romans did, folks, in a time of fear than in a time of peace. Okay? And the terrorist attacks was like the watershed event and like all this stuff. Oh, no, you have to give up your freedoms. You have to let us track you. You have to let us monitor you. You have to let us do anything we want to do to you because, oh, not you, you're the safe person. We were going to get the bad people. Okay, but in order to get the bad people, what happens? You lose your freedom. But here's the problem, folks. What if all of a sudden you get deemed to be one of the bad people? Because you don't go along with the system. Okay, that's the trap that's being set. Now, here's the point. For the first time in mankind's history, Derek, we not only have the technology to pull off the mark of the beast, okay, with the satellites and the orbiting and the databases on people, okay, but right now, there's all kinds of, under the guise of fear, okay, this is where I'm going with this, under the guise of fear, we now are being conditioned to receive all kind of personal location invasion devices, okay, in order to protect us. Okay, right now, folks, they've already embedded identification numbers in computer processors, which allows them to identify anyone, anywhere on the Internet, anything you watch, anytime, and it's all being recorded.
Wow. Under
the guise of it's going to keep us safe. Folks, that's common knowledge. Do the research yourself. Here's one. I would hope that, Derek, your listeners, are aware of this. This isn't new because this has been known, and this isn't even the secular media. They admit this. Anyone carrying a cell phone right now, folks, cannot just be precisely pinpointed. You can go right now, check it out for yourself, folks. You can even, depending on who your service provider is, you can actually pay an extra, extra monthly amount, and you can have their cell phone and go onto a website and use it to track your loved one. In case you're teenagers, you don't want to watch where they go, or that spouse you don't trust. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You'll find out exactly in real time where they're at with the cell phone. Worse than that, even the secular media has demonstrated that your cell phone, folks, right now is not just a tracking device; it's a listening device, even with your cell phone off. And people can do it all the time with just hacking software. It doesn't even have to be a, quote, conspiracy or somebody. It's common knowledge, okay, with that. And so we're being used to being monitored and tracked personally into this huge global Big Brother system. Schools right now, folks, are using watch-like devices or badges on students to monitor the children, where they're at, did they make it to school on time, what classroom they're in, and parents can go in and, wouldn't you like to have that piece of security? In fact, they're even doing it to monitor how much exercise they're getting. They're going to know everything. That's the tip of the iceberg. The rental car people right now, folks, are using GPS systems to monitor you while you drive that rental car. And some people right now, okay, they're starting to create a fervor. They're finding people. You go in to check your car, they're fining people because they can demonstrate via the GPS that you were speeding while you rented their car, or that you went out of the arena that you weren't supposed to, because you are being tracked by the rental car company. Employee vehicles, folks, in various cities are being monitored, okay, because you work for the city. Okay, and completely. In fact, 3 police officers were recently charged for falsifying their records, and how they know they lied, because what they filled out in the report didn't match the location indicated on the GPS that was installed in their vehicles. Okay, but that's not all. It goes into what's called biometric technology. We are so conditioned right now with hand scans, with retinal scans, and that's a whole other topic about the issue with what's going on at the airports. Fingerprint scans are being used. Now, here's the point. This is where it starts getting very interesting. This biometric technology. It's not just to be able to identify us, so we're not prove that we're not a terrorist, under the guise of, supposed fear and freedom. Okay, and that's how we go along with it. But now they're using this biometric technology, okay, to access computers, to purchase school lunches, to even buy groceries. You can go to the grocery store right now, and you could put your finger down on the thing, and you could have the ability to buy or sell for the first time in mankind's history. We haven't even talked about chips yet, folks. But isn't that interesting? John writes this 2,000 years ago. He's wondering how in the world is somebody going to control the whole planet, whether they get to buy and sell. We have the technology for the first time in mankind's history to pull it off with the global satellite technology. We have the databases already in place that we're already in, 300 plus personally, each individual, okay? And then we're already conditioned under the guise of fear that we have to be connected to this system and monitored and tracked like cattle and rats, okay? And this technology also happens to give us the convenience to buy and sell with our body parts. And notice that the body parts, one of them happen to deal with the hand. Very interesting. Okay? Now, here's my theory. Okay, you start with this stuff on the outside, okay, and you create a crisis, and then you can manage the outcome. You see, there's only one problem, folks, with all these different kinds of identification. Okay? They either take too much time, okay, they can be damaged, they can be falsified. Worse yet, they can be lost. Okay, so if you use one of these systems, like you could lose your cell phone, or if you have one of the new chipped driver's licenses or passports, which are mandatory with the passport, okay, and which also gives them the ability to track you. Yes, it's happening, folks. Okay, but the problem is you could lose that, right? So wouldn't it be great if somehow you could just take this technology and you could put it on the inside of you, where you wouldn't lose it?
Right.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
And see, this is where people are going, I can't believe it. I can't believe that they are unleashing this technology with these passports that can be skimmed and scammed, and these enhanced driver's licenses. And now, of course, there's the whole immigration issue, and everybody's going to get a work card and all that stuff. But again, all of it controls, it has this my technology in it that stores and retrieves information. Some of it makes financial transactions like your debit card, your ATM. But wouldn't it be great if you can combine all that into one, and that's where it's going? But see, there's a problem. What if you lose it? Well, hey, you can't lose it if you put it inside of you. And again, people think, well, why are they unleashing it? Because there's an elephant in the room, folks, and the elephant is this: it's not secure. And people are boondoggled and going, well, why do they keep releasing these cards, these passports, these driver's licenses when they're not secure. Because, again, what's the axiom? You create a crisis, you manage the outcome. So what we're going to do is we're going to get everybody chipped externally with these ID cards or passports are all combined into one for convenience, okay? And then, oh, no, oh, look at that. Oh, somebody stole it from you. Oh, they stole your identity. Oh, they ripped off your whole bank account. Oh, that's horrible. We need to do something. Hey, I know. How about if we, put it on the inside of you? People, can you smell that coming a mile away?
Right.
Why would you release this technology that has flaws in it unless, of course, you are going to use that as an excuse to get it on the inside? Now, here's what's different. Folks, for the first time in mankind's history, they can do that. They can do that with a biometric implant. Okay, it's a tiny little chip, one of them. There's various ones out there, but the size of a grain of rice, okay, and it's implanted underneath the skin, and believe it or not, it was approved back in 2002 by the FDA, perfectly fine for humans. Now, that's for the first time in history. Okay, you can't say, oh, you guys all been saying this for 100 years. That's for the first time in history. But I will share this with you, Derek. Some people